My chosen one, something urgent has just been released into your life, and you were not meant to miss this moment. There are only 10 minutes left in this spiritual window, and what I am about to reveal will shake you to your core. This is not a random message. This is not something you click by accident. This is a divine interruption, because Archangel Michael has stepped forward with a warning that cannot wait. Right now, as you are hearing these words, there is a powerful figure, a billionaire, someone with influence, wealth, and authority, who has already been aligned with your path. This connection was not built overnight. It has been orchestrated behind the scenes, through divine timing, through moments you didn't understand, through doors that closed just to lead you here. And now, everything was supposed to come together. But something has gone wrong. There is an unseen force standing between you and this life-changing connection. And what makes this revelation even more shocking is that it is not coming from a stranger, not from an enemy, but from someone you love, someone you trust, someone who has been close to your heart. Listen carefully, because this is where most people lose everything. A spiritual blockage has been placed over your breakthrough. It did not come through rituals you could easily recognize. It came through words, through emotions, through moments of jealousy, fear, or doubt spoken over your life. This loved one did not fully understand what they were doing, but their energy, their intentions in a moment of weakness created a shadow over your blessing. And now, that shadow is interfering with something massive. Archangel Michael is not revealing this to bring fear into your heart. He is revealing this because time is running out. The connection with this powerful individual is still alive, but it is fading. The window is closing, and if nothing is done, this opportunity may pass in silence, leaving you wondering what could have been. You may already feel it. The delays that don't make sense. The sudden confusion. The feeling that something is just slightly off, even when everything should be working in your favor. These are not coincidences. These are signs. But here is the truth that changes everything. You are not powerless. The moment this message reached you, something shifted. Awareness has been activated. Light has entered a place where darkness was quietly working. And Archangel Michael is standing beside you now, not just as a messenger, but as a protector, ready to guide you through what must be done next. You have 3 days. 3 days to recognize, to act, and to break what hath been placed against you. This is not about confrontation. This is not about blaming the one you love. This is about rising spiritually, stepping into authority, and removing what does not belong in your destiny. Do not ignore this. Do not scroll away, because moments like this do not come twice. Something extraordinary is trying to reach you, and right now, you are standing at the edge of receiving it, or losing it forever. The next revelation will open your eyes to why this connection was chosen specifically for you and why your life was always meant to change through it. Listen closely, because what is unfolding is far deeper than a simple opportunity. This connection that is forming between you and this powerful individual was written long before this moment. It did not begin when you first heard their name, nor when circumstances started aligning. It began in the unseen realm, where divine assignments are crafted with precision and purpose. Archangel Michael is revealing that your life has been quietly guided toward this exact intersection, even through moments that once felt like setbacks. There were times when doors closed in your face and you questioned your worth. Times when you felt overlooked, underestimated, or even forgotten. But those moments were not rejections. They were redirections. Each delay, each disappointment, was positioning you, shaping your character, strengthening your spirit so that you would be ready to stand in the presence of something far greater than you imagined. This billionaire figure is not just a person of wealth. They are a gatekeeper of transformation. What they carry is not only financial abundance, but influence, access, and the ability to elevate others into new dimensions of life. And what is astonishing is this: out of countless individuals, you have been marked as someone they are meant to encounter. You may be asking yourself, why me? And that question is exactly what has kept many people from stepping into their destiny. But Archangel Michael is making this clear. It is because of your resilience. Because you did not give up when things became difficult. Because even when your faith weakened, it never completely disappeared. There is something within you, a light, a calling, that cannot be ignored in the spiritual realm. This connection is not accidental. It is purposeful. There have already been subtle signs, moments where you felt an unusual pull toward change, ideas that came to you suddenly, encounters that seemed small but felt significant. These are not random. They were breadcrumbs leading you closer to this moment. And now, you are standing at the threshold where everything can shift. But here is where the tension deepens. Because while this alignment hath been divinely orchestrated, it has also attracted resistance. When something carries this level of blessing, it does not go unnoticed. Energies, both seen and unseen, begin to respond. Some are drawn to support it, while others, often unknowingly, create interference. This is why the presence of the curse is so critical to understand. It is not strong because it is powerful on its own. It is strong because it is connected to emotion. Specifically, the emotional bond between you and the person who unknowingly released it. Emotional ties create spiritual pathways, and through those pathways, words and intentions carry weight far beyond what is spoken. The loved one involved did not wake up intending to block your destiny. It happened in a moment, perhaps a moment of fear that you would outgrow them, a moment of jealousy they didn't fully understand, or even a protective instinct that became misaligned. Words spoken in such moments can take root in ways that linger, especially when they are tied to someone you care about deeply. And now, those words have formed a barrier. But do not mistake this for defeat. Because the same spiritual connection that allowed that interference to exist also gives you the authority to remove it. This is why you are being shown this now, before it is too late. Awareness is your first weapon. Understanding is your shield. And action will be your breakthrough. Archangel Michael is not simply watching this unfold. He is actively guiding you, ensuring that you are not left in confusion. You are being prepared, step by step, to step into alignment again. But you must remain alert, because the next phase will reveal how this blockage operates, and more importantly, how it can be dismantled completely. What is coming next will open your eyes to the hidden mechanics of this spiritual interference. You will begin to see how something so subtle has had such a powerful effect, and why these next moments are more critical than anything you have faced before. Pay attention now, because what is about to be revealed will explain everything you have been sensing but could not fully understand. The blockage over your life did not appear in a dramatic or obvious way. It formed quietly, like a shadow that slowly stretches without being noticed. Archangel Michael is showing that this kind of interference does not always come through rituals or intentional harm. It often comes through something much more common: words spoken in emotional intensity, thoughts repeated in fear, and energy released without awareness. This is why it feels confusing. Because how can someone you love, someone who has laughed with you, stood beside you, and shared your life, be connected to something that is now standing in your way? The answer is not hatred. It is misalignment. There was a moment, just one moment, when this person felt something shift inside them. It may have been when they saw you rising, when they sensed you were about to step into something greater, or when they feared losing their place in your life. In that moment, their emotions spoke louder than their spirit, and what they released, whether through a sentence, a sigh, or even a repeated thought, carried weight. Words are not empty. Thoughts are not powerless. When emotion fuels them, they become spiritual signals. And those signals can either open doors or create barriers. In your case, a barrier was formed. It attached itself to your progress, specifically to this connection that was meant to elevate you. It began influencing timing, causing delays that made no logical sense. It introduced confusion where there should have been clarity. It weakened your confidence at key moments, making you hesitate when you should have moved forward. All of this was subtle, but its effects were real. And the most important thing you must understand is this. This blockage has been feeding on your silence. The algorithm that recognize the sugar it appears, not because it is truly powerful, but because it remains unchallenged. Darkness does not need strength when light is absent. It only needs space. But that space has now been interrupted. The moment you heard this message, something shifted in the unseen realm. Awareness broke through the silence. Light entered a place where confusion once ruled. And Archangel Michael is standing as a witness to this shift, reminding you that what was hidden is no longer hidden. Now you have authority. But authority must be used. This is not about confronting the person you love. This is not about creating conflict or breaking relationships. The spiritual realm does not respond to anger in the way you might expect. Instead, it responds to clarity, intention, and truth. You are being called to rise above the emotional layer and operate from a higher place. You must begin by recognizing that what was spoken over you does not define you. It does not own your path. It does not have permission to remain. Say it within yourself, clearly and firmly. What was placed over my life without alignment will not remain in my life with awareness. Feel the shift in those words, because this is where the breaking begins. Archangel Michael is guiding you to reclaim your space, to stand in your spiritual identity, and to remove what does not belong. This is the first step of the 3-day window you have been given. Not a physical action, but an internal awakening. A decision that you are no longer unaware, no longer passive, and no longer accepting what was never meant for you. And as this realization settles in, something else begins to weaken. The hold that this blockage had is starting to loosen. The confusion that surrounded your path is beginning to clear. You may not see the full result yet, but the process has already begun. Do not underestimate this moment, because what you do with this awareness will determine everything that follows. The next phase will take you deeper into recognizing the signs that have been appearing in your life, signs that confirm this message is real and that this breakthrough has been closer than you think. Before you move forward, seal this moment with intention. Type "I break every hidden barrier" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 639 has just been activated over your path. And as this truth settles into your heart, understand this: what you are stepping into is not just personal. It is part of a greater mission to bring light where there has been delay, clarity where there has been confusion, and breakthrough where there has been silence. There are moments when heaven looks for willing hearts to carry its message further. If something within you feels stirred to take part in that flow, this is your invitation. When you release your support through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in the description and QR code, you are not just giving. You are sowing into the expansion of this message so it can reach the one who is still waiting in darkness. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not a distant promise. It is a living truth speaking directly into your moment. And if you feel it, if you sense that pull, then act without hesitation. Say within yourself, I am a vessel for this light, and I release my seat now. As you give, may every barrier in your path begin to fall. May every hidden delay be lifted, and may what was meant for you find you without resistance. Now move with certainty. There is a reason you could not ignore what you just heard. Something inside you paused, leaned in, and recognized that this message was not ordinary. That feeling is not imagination. It is confirmation. Archangel Michael is now revealing the signs that have already been present in your life. Signals that prove this moment has been building for longer than you realize. Think back carefully. There have been delays that made no sense. Situations where everything seemed perfectly aligned, yet something invisible caused it to fall apart at the last second. Opportunities that came close, so close you could almost touch them, but then slipped away without explanation. These were not random events. They were interruptions caused by a force you could not see at the time. You may also remember moments of sudden doubt. Times when you felt ready, prepared, even confident, and then, without warning, hesitation took over. A voice inside you questioned your worth, your timing, or your ability. That voice did not feel like your true self, yet it was strong enough to slow you down. That was not your spirit speaking. That was interference echoing through your emotional connection. And then there are the patterns. Repeated cycles that seem to follow you no matter how much effort you put in. You worked harder, tried different approaches, stayed patient, but the outcome remained the same. It was as if something unseen kept resetting your progress just as you were about to move forward. This pattern was not a reflection of your failure. It was the result of a blockage that had not yet been addressed. Archangel Michael is asking you now to see these moments differently. What once looked like disappointment was actually evidence. What once felt like confusion was actually a signal. You were not being denied. You were being delayed by something that is now being revealed so it can finally be removed. There is also something else you may have felt, something more subtle. An inner knowing that something greater was waiting for you. Even in your lowest moments, when everything seemed uncertain, there was still a quiet sense that your story was not meant to end where you were. That feeling did not come from nowhere. It came from alignment. It came from the truth of what is meant for you, gently reminding you not to settle. That truth is still alive, and it is drawing closer again. The connection with this powerful individual has not disappeared. It hath been held back, slowed, and distorted, but it has not been erased. This is why the urgency exists. Because now that the interference has been exposed, there is a narrow window where everything can be restored. But you must remain aware. Because as light increases, resistance often reacts. You may notice distractions appearing more frequently. Small frustrations trying to pull your focus away. Conversations that drain your energy or make you question what you have just understood. These are not coincidences. They are attempts to keep you from fully stepping into clarity. Do not engage with them. Stay centered in what has been revealed to you. Protect your focus. Guard your thoughts. Because what you believe in this moment will shape how quickly this blockage dissolves. Archangel Michael is not only showing you the signs of what has been happening, he is also strengthening your ability to recognize truth moving forward. This is how you regain control. Not by force, but by awareness. Not by fear, but by alignment. You are beginning to see clearly now. And with clarity comes responsibility. Because once you see the pattern, you can no longer ignore it. Once you recognize the interference, you cannot pretend it is not there. This is where transformation begins, not in comfort, but in truth. And the truth is this: you are closer than you think, closer to the breakthrough, closer to the connection, closer to the moment where everything shifts back into place. But the process is not complete yet. There is still a deeper layer to uncover, a stronger step to take, and a greater understanding that must be anchored within you. What is coming next will reveal the unseen battle surrounding this opportunity, the tension between what is trying to reach you and what hath been holding it back. And when you understand that, you will no longer feel uncertain. You will feel ready. A shift is happening now, and you can feel it if you are paying attention. What once felt like confusion is beginning to organize itself into clarity. But with this clarity comes a deeper revelation, one that most people never fully understand. There is a real spiritual tension surrounding moments like this. When something significant is about to enter your life, it does not arrive quietly. It is contested. Archangel Michael is revealing that what you are experiencing is not just a personal situation. It is part of a larger spiritual movement, where forces of alignment and resistance meet at the same point. On one side, there is divine intention, guiding, preparing, and opening doors that lead you toward elevation. On the other side, there is interference, subtle, quiet, and often disguised, attempting to slow or redirect what is meant for you. This is the unseen battle. It does not look like what you might expect. There are no loud warnings or obvious signs. Instead, it operates through pressure, distraction, doubt, and delay. It uses the familiar, the emotional, and the comfortable to keep you from recognizing what is actually happening. And in your case, it found its entry point through a connection that mattered to you deeply. But understand this clearly: just because something hath been resisted does not mean it is lost. In fact, the very presence of resistance confirms the value of what is trying to reach you. Ordinary things are not contested. Small opportunities are not blocked in this way. What you are standing before carries weight, impact, and transformation. And that is why it hath been challenged. The billionaire connection you were shown is not simply about financial gain. It represents access to a different level of life, one where your influence expands, where your voice reaches further, where your potential is no longer limited by past conditions. This is why it has drawn attention in the unseen realm. Because once it aligns, it does not only change your circumstances, it changes your direction. And now, you are standing at the center of that shift. Archangel Michael is not distant from this moment. He is actively present, guarding what is meant for you while also guiding you through what must be understood. His presence is not passive, it is protective, intentional, and precise. But even with that protection, there is something required from you: participation. You are not meant to watch this unfold. You are meant to step into it. This is where many people hesitate. They wait for everything to feel perfect, for every sign to be confirmed, for every doubt to disappear. But this moment is not about perfection. It is about alignment. It is about choosing to stand in truth even when the full picture is still forming. You may feel a pull in two directions right now. One part of you wants to move forward, to believe what is being revealed, to step into the possibility that something extraordinary is within reach. But another part of you feels cautious, unsure, even resistant. The tension is not weakness. It is the result of everything that has been working against you slowly losing its hold. And here is what you must remember: you are not fighting this battle alone. The presence of Archangel Michael is not symbolic. It is active. It is a force that stands between you and what seeks to harm your path. But protection does not remove responsibility. It strengthens your ability to act. This is why awareness was given to you first. Because once you see clearly, your choices begin to carry power. Every thought you accept, every belief you reinforce, every action you take, these become part of the process of either maintaining the blockage or breaking it. Right now, the balance is shifting. The interference that once operated quietly is being exposed. The patterns that once repeated without explanation are now understood. And the opportunity that once felt distant is beginning to come back into focus. But the process is not finished. There is still something required to fully restore what has been delayed. A step that moves beyond understanding into action. A shift that must take place not just in your awareness, but in your spirit. What comes next will begin to show you exactly what to do. Not in vague terms, but in clear, intentional steps that align you with the outcome that was always meant for you. Stay ready, because the moment you have been waiting for is no longer approaching. It is unfolding. Something within you is beginning to awaken, and this is where everything starts to become real. What was once a message is now becoming a path. What was once a warning is now becoming instruction. Archangel Michael is stepping closer in this moment, not just to reveal, but to guide you into action, because the next 72 hours are not ordinary time. They are a sacred window. These 3 days carry a specific energy. They are not random. They are not symbolic. They are precise. Within this time, what has been delayed can be restored, what has been blocked can be released, and what has been weakened can be strengthened again. But this does not happen automatically. It requires alignment, intentional, focused, and unwavering. The first step begins within you. Before anything external changes, something internal must shift. You must become aware of what you are holding on to that does not belong to you. Not just the words that were spoken over you, but the way you may have unknowingly accepted them. Doubt, hesitation, fear, these are not your natural state. They were introduced, repeated, and eventually felt familiar. But familiarity does not make them truth. Archangel Michael is asking you now to release them. This is not about forcing yourself to feel different. It is about recognizing that what you feel is not always what is real. You must begin to separate your identity from the interference. Say within yourself, slowly and with intention, I release every thought that was planted in fear. I return to the truth of who I am. Let those words settle, because this is where the shift begins. The second step is awareness of your environment. Over these next 3 days, you must become intentional about what you allow around you. Conversations, influences, distractions, these all carry energy. And when you are in a moment of transition like this, even small influences can have a greater impact. You may notice certain people trying to pull your attention into negativity. You may feel drawn toward habits that lower your focus or weaken your clarity. These are not coincidences. They are reactions to the shift that is happening within you. You must choose differently. Protect your space. Protect your focus. Not out of fear, but out of understanding. You are not isolating yourself, you are aligning yourself. The third step is declaration. There is power in what you speak, especially when it is aligned with truth. For too long, words spoken over you have carried weight. Now it is time for your own words to rise with greater authority. Not loudly, not forcefully, but clearly and consistently. Speak this. What is meant for me will not be blocked. What is aligned with me will reach me. What was delayed is now released. Repeat it, not as a wish but as a statement. Because this is how you begin to reclaim control over your path. Archangel Michael is not asking you to do something complicated. He is guiding you into simplicity, clear thoughts, protected energy, and aligned words. These may seem small, but they are powerful when practiced with intention. They begin to dismantle what was built without awareness. And as you move through these steps, something will begin to change. You may notice a sense of calm replacing confusion. You may feel clarity where there was once hesitation. You may even see small signs, unexpected messages, sudden ideas or moments that feel perfectly timed. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the alignment is returning. But stay focused, because this process is not about a single moment. It is about consistency over these 3 days. Each hour matters. Each decision contributes to the outcome. And while the shift has begun, it must be sustained. This is where your strength is revealed. Not in how quickly things change, but in how firmly you remain aligned even before the full result appears. This is what transforms awareness into breakthrough. And know this, Archangel Michael is not stepping away. His presence remains, steady and protective, as you move through this window. You are being guided, supported, and strengthened, even in ways you may not fully see yet. What comes next will take you deeper, not just into action, but into understanding the emotional connection that allowed this blockage to form in the first place. Because to fully release it, you must also free yourself from what has been holding it in place. You are moving forward now. There is a deeper layer that must now be faced, and it is not outside of you. It is within your emotional world. What has been revealed so far has shown you the presence of interference, the steps to begin breaking it, and the urgency of this moment. But now Archangel Michael is guiding you into something more delicate, something many people avoid because it feels uncomfortable. The connection to the person who unknowingly placed this blockage. This is not about blame. It is not about anger. And it is not about creating distance in a way that harms your heart. What you are being asked to do is far more powerful than that. You are being asked to release the emotional energy that has been holding this interference in place. Because here is the truth most people do not realize. Spiritual blockages that come through emotional bonds do not stay strong because of the words that were spoken. They stay strong because of the ongoing emotional connection that continues to feed them. Every time you feel hurt, confused, or even overly attached to that person's approval, the pathway remains open. And as long as that pathway remains open, the interference has something to hold on to. This is why Archangel Michael is guiding you toward release, not of the person, but of the weight attached to them. Think about this carefully. You can love someone and still release the hold their words or energy have over your life. You can care for them and still stand in your own truth. These two things do not cancel each other out. In fact, when done correctly, they strengthen each other. But to reach that point, you must become aware of what you are carrying. Have there been moments where their opinion mattered more than your own inner knowing? Times when their words lingered longer than they should have? Moments when you felt the need to prove something to them, even silently? These are the threads that keep the connection active in a way that allows interference to remain. And now, those threads must be gently released. Archangel Michael is not asking you to confront them or explain anything. This is not a physical action. It is an internal decision. A quiet but powerful shift in how you relate to their influence over your life. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this person. Not with frustration, not with resentment, but with clarity. See them as they are, human, imperfect, capable of both love and misalignment. Understand that what they released came from a place within them that was not fully aware, not fully aligned. And now, say within yourself, I release every word, every emotion, and every influence that does not align with my path. I return it without anger. I return it without attachment. I stand free. Feel what happens when you say that. Because this is not just a statement. It is a separation of energy. This is where the emotional pathway begins to close. And as it closes, something else opens. Your clarity strengthens. Your sense of direction becomes sharper. The hesitation that once slowed you down begins to dissolve. This is not because the external world has changed yet, but because the internal connection that allowed interference has been weakened. This is one of the most powerful steps in this entire process. Because once the emotional hold is released, the blockage loses its foundation. It can no longer sustain itself in the same way. It begins to fade, not through force, but through lack of support. But stay aware, because sometimes, when this release begins, there may be moments where old feelings try to return. You may suddenly think about past conversations, past emotions, or feel a temporary pull back into old patterns. This is natural. It is simply the echo of what once existed. Do not engage with it. Acknowledge it, and let it pass, because you are no longer operating from that place. Archangel Michael is guiding you into a state of emotional independence, not isolation, but strength. A place where your path is no longer influenced by what was spoken in a moment of misalignment. A place where your connection to others exists without controlling your direction. And as this shift continues, something important is happening. The space that was once occupied by interference is now being cleared. And in that space, alignment begins to return more fully. You are not just removing something, you are making room for something greater. What comes next will bring you to a turning point. A moment where the weakening of this blockage becomes visible, where you begin to feel a shift not just internally, but externally as well. Stay steady, because you are closer now than you have ever been. Something has shifted, and you can feel it now in a way that is no longer subtle. What once felt heavy is beginning to lift. What once felt delayed is beginning to move. This is the turning point Archangel Michael has been guiding you toward. The moment where the hold of the blockage weakens enough for alignment to start flowing again. Do not overlook this moment, because this is where many people lose their breakthrough, not because they failed, but because they stopped too soon. They feel a little relief, a small shift, and they assume the process is complete. But what you are experiencing right now is not the end. It is the opening. The barrier that stood between you and this life-changing connection is no longer as strong as it was. The emotional ties that fed it have been loosened. The awareness that exposes it has been activated. And now, Archangel Michael is calling you to take one final spiritual step to complete what hath been started. This step is not complicated, but it is powerful. It is the act of full alignment. Up until now, you have been releasing, recognizing, and protecting your energy. But now, you must step forward with intention. You must begin to act as someone who is already aligned with what is meant for them. Not waiting, not hoping, but knowing. Because this is what shifts everything. Your energy must match the reality you are stepping into. Think about it carefully. If this connection is meant to elevate you, then you must begin to carry yourself as someone who is ready to be elevated. If this opportunity is meant to open doors, then you must begin to think and move as someone who is prepared to walk through them. This does not mean pretending. It means aligning. It means choosing thoughts that support your path instead of questioning it. It means taking small actions that reflect readiness instead of hesitation. It means allowing yourself to believe that what once felt distant is now within reach. Archangel Michael is emphasizing this because the final stage of breaking any blockage is not just removing what was wrong. It is fully stepping into what is right. And this is where your power becomes undeniable. You may notice something unusual beginning to happen. Moments of clarity appearing out of nowhere. Ideas forming quickly and with precision. A sense of calm confidence replacing the uncertainty that once followed you. These are signs that alignment is taking hold. That what was once blocked is now finding its way back to you. But there is one more thing. One final act that seals this shift. Gratitude. Not after everything happens, but before. Gratitude signals completion in the spiritual realm. It declares that you trust what is unfolding, even before you see it fully. And the trust creates a path with that nothing to need to throw. Say it clearly within yourself. I am grateful that what is meant for me is already on its way. I am grateful that what was blocked is now released. I am grateful that I am aligned. Feel the certainty in those words, because this is where fear loses its place. And now, as this alignment settles in, Archangel Michael stands as a witness to your shift. The process that began with urgency is now moving into completion. The interference that once stood strong is now dissolving, and the connection that was delayed is beginning to move again. But stay present, because what happens next will reveal itself quickly. The signs, the movement, the confirmation, you will begin to notice them. And when you do, you will understand just how close everything has been all along. Seal this moment now. Type I am fully aligned in the comments if you feel this shift within you. Blessing code 8821 has now been released into your path. And as you step into this alignment, understand this truth. What you have just experienced is not meant to stay with you alone. There are others still standing where you once stood, unaware of what is blocking them, waiting for light to reach them the way it reached you. When you choose to release your support through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link provided in the description and QR code, you are not just giving. You are becoming part of that light. You are helping this message travel further, reach deeper, and awaken those who are still in confusion. The word speaks. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously. This is not a distant promise. It is alive, and it is speaking directly into your moment right now. If you feel that stirring within you, do not hesitate. Say within yourself, I step into alignment, and I release my seed now. As you do, may every door meant for you open without resistance. May every connection find you without delay. And may what hath been waiting for you finally arrive in its fullness. Now stand in it. What is beginning to unfold now is something you were always meant to witness, but never in the way you expected. The energy around you has shifted, and with that shift comes revelation, not just about the blockage, not just about the timing, but about the true nature of the connection that has been waiting for you. This is not just about a wealthy individual entering your life. Archangel Michael is making it clear that what is approaching you carries purpose far beyond financial gain. Yes, this person holds influence, resources, and access that can change your circumstances in ways you once only imagined. But that is only the surface. Beneath that is something much deeper, a divine assignment that involves elevation, expansion, and alignment with a greater calling. You are not being brought into this connection just to receive. You are being brought into it because there is something within you that is meant to be activated. There is a reason your journey has been the way it has. The struggles, the delays, the moments where you felt like you were moving forward only to be pulled back, those were not meaningless. They were preparing you to carry something more, to handle something greater, to step into a space where not everyone is ready to stand. This person, the one you are being aligned with, does not just open doors for anyone. They are drawn to something specific, something rare, something that can't be faked or forced. And that is the very thing that exists within you. It is your resilience. It is your ability to endure without losing your core. It is the quiet strength you developed when no one was watching, when no one was applauding, when you had every reason to give up but chose not to. That is what has marked you. And now, that mark is being recognized. Archangel Michael is revealing that this connection is not based on chance. It is based on alignment of purpose. What you carry and what they carry are meant to intersect, not just for your benefit, but for something that extends beyond both of you. This is where your understanding must expand. Because if you limit this moment to money alone, you will miss its full impact. This is about access to a new level of thinking, a new level of opportunity, a new level of influence. It is about stepping into environments and conversations that shift how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. And with that comes responsibility. You are not being elevated to remain the same. You are being elevated to grow, to expand, to become someone who can carry what is being placed in your hands. This is why the preparation you went through was necessary. This is why the delays, even the painful ones, had purpose. Because what is coming requires readiness. And now, that readiness is being tested, not in a way that brings fear, but in a way that calls for awareness. You must remain grounded in what has been revealed to you. You must not allow old patterns of doubt or hesitation to return. Because as this connection begins to move closer, your response will determine how smoothly it aligns. You may begin to notice signs very soon. Unexpected opportunities appearing. Conversations shifting in your favor. Information reaching you at the right time. These are not coincidences. They are movements, evidence that what was once delayed is now finding its way back. But stay steady, because even in this moment of movement, there is still a need for focus. The process is not complete yet. There is still a final stage that will determine how fully this breakthrough manifests in your life. Archangel Michael is guiding you step by step, not rushing, not forcing, but ensuring that each layer is properly aligned. Because when something is restored in the right way, it does not collapse again. It stands, and that is what is being built for you now. A foundation that is not easily shaken, a connection that is not easily broken, a path that does not easily disappear. You are no longer standing at the edge of possibility. You are stepping into it. And what comes next will bring clarity to the final warning. The one thing you must avoid if you do not want this opportunity to slip away again. There is something you must hear now with complete clarity, because this is where everything can either fully align or quietly slip away again. What has been restored is real. What is approaching you is real. But Archangel Michael is revealing a truth that many ignore at the final stage of breakthrough. The greatest risk does not come at the beginning. It comes at the moment when everything is about to come together. This is where awareness must become discipline. Because even though the blockage has weakened, even though alignment has begun to return, there is still one thing that can disrupt the flow if you are not careful. And that is returning to the old state of thinking that once allowed the interference to take hold. Think about this carefully. Before this message reached you, there were patterns, subtle but consistent. Doubt that appeared without reason. Hesitation at the wrong moment. Overthinking that slowed your actions. These patterns did not feel dangerous at the time, but they created space. And in that space, the blockage found room to exist. now that space has been cleared. But if those patterns return, even in small ways, they can begin to rebuild what has just been broken. This is why Archangel Michael is urging you to remain alert, not in fear, but in awareness. You are not being watched to be judged. You are being guided to remain aligned, because alignment is not a single moment. It is a state you maintain. You may notice something subtle in the coming hours or days. A thought that questions what you just experienced. A feeling that tries to pull you back into uncertainty. A situation that seems to challenge your belief again. These are not signs that something is wrong. They are tests of your stability. And how you respond matters. If you entertain those thoughts, if you allow them to grow, you begin to reopen the same pathways that once allowed interference to exist. But if you recognize them for what they are, temporary echoes, you remove their power immediately. Say within yourself when this happens, "This no longer belongs to me." Do not argue with the thought. Do not analyze it. Release it. Because the version of you that moves forward does not carry what has already been removed. Archangel Michael is making this moment very clear. This is not about perfection. You are not expected to never feel doubt again. But you are being called to no longer agree with it. There is a difference. Doubt may appear, but it does not have to stay. And this is where your strength is proven. Not in avoiding every challenge, but in choosing alignment even when something tries to pull you away from it. Here is also something else you must be aware of. As this opportunity begins to move closer, not everyone around you will understand what is happening. Some may question it. Some may speak from their own limitations. Some may even unintentionally repeat the same kind of energy that once created the blockage. Do not absorb it. Listen, but do not internalize. Hear, but do not accept what does not align. Because at this stage, your environment matters more than ever. Not because it controls you, but because it can influence your focus if you are not grounded. Stay anchored in what you know. You have already seen the signs. You have already felt the shift. You have already stepped through the process of release and alignment. Do not let temporary voices override what had been clearly revealed to you. Because this is the final stretch. The opportunity that once felt distant is now within reach. The connection that was delayed is now moving again. And the path that was unclear is now opening. But the window is still limited. Not because it is fragile, but because timing matters. There are moments when alignment is strongest, when everything is positioned perfectly for movement. And this is one of those moments. Do not drift now. Do not return to old habits of waiting, doubting, or holding back. Move with clarity. Think with intention. Stay aligned with what you have already claimed. Because what happens next depends on how you stand in this moment. Archangel Michael has guided you through awareness, release, alignment, and understanding. And now, you are being brought to the final instruction, the step that completes the process and ensures that what is meant for you fully arrives without resistance. You are closer than ever, and what comes next will determine how completely this breakthrough becomes your reality. This is the moment where everything comes together, not as a possibility, but as a decision. You have been guided through awareness, through release, through alignment, and through discipline. Now Archangel Michael is bringing you to the final instruction, the step that transforms everything you have received into something that fully manifests in your life. This step is not external. It is not about waiting for a call, a message, or a sign to confirm what you already know. It is about making a declaration so strong within you that nothing outside of you can contradict it. Because at the highest level of alignment, Your reality begins to respond to what you have fully accepted as truth. Up until now, you have been preparing. Now, you must decide. Not in uncertainty, not in hesitation, but with clarity and authority. You must choose to stand in the version of yourself that is already connected to what is meant for you. The version of you that no longer questions whether this opportunity is real, but understands that it is already in motion. Archangel Michael is asking you to make this declaration, not as words you repeat casually, but as a truth you anchor deeply within your spirit. What is meant for me is already mine. What was delayed has returned. What was blocked is now open. I stand ready, and I receive without resistance. Pause and feel that. Because this is not just affirmation, it is alignment in its final form. When you declare something with full belief, you remove the last layer of separation between you and it. You stop seeing it as something outside of you and begin to experience it as something that is already unfolding within your reach. This is where many people stop short. They go through the process, they feel the shift, but they never fully claim it. They wait for proof before they believe, when in truth, belief is what allows the proof to appear. You are not being called to wait anymore. You are being called to receive. And receiving requires openness. It requires you to let go of the need to control how it happens, when it happens, or exactly what it looks like. Because the moment you try to force the outcome, you step out of alignment. But when you remain open, grounded, and certain, you allow it to come in the way it was always meant to. You may begin to notice something now. A quiet confidence settling within you. A sense that you are no longer chasing something, but allowing it to come to you. This is not imagination. This is the result of everything you have just moved through. It is the natural state of someone who is aligned. Hold on to this state, because this is what carries you into the moment of manifestation. And understand this, what is coming may not arrive in the exact way you expect. The connection, the opportunity, the breakthrough, it may appear through a path that looks different than what you imagined. But do not mistake difference for misalignment. Stay aware, because when it arrives, it will carry a feeling of recognition, not confusion, not uncertainty, but a clear sense that this is what you were being prepared for. Trust that feeling. Move with it, because hesitation at that moment is the only thing that can slow what has already been set in motion. Archangel Michael has brought you to this point with precision. Nothing has been random. Nothing hath been wasted. Every step, every realization, every shift has led you here, to the moment where you are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are choosing. Choosing to step forward. Choosing to receive. Choosing to trust what has been revealed to you. And as you stand in this decision, something final takes place. The separation between you and what is meant for you dissolves. No more delay. No more interference. No more uncertainty. Only alignment. And now, you are ready for what comes next, the completion of this journey, where everything settles into place, and the peace of knowing replaces the urgency that brought you here. You have reached the threshold, and what awaits you on the other side is already yours. Beloved soul, the urgency that carried you here is now giving way to something far more powerful, peace. You have moved through revelation, through release, through alignment, and now you stand at a place where clarity replaces confusion. The storm that once surrounded this moment is no longer controlling your path. It has passed, and what remains is truth. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, not as a warning voice, but as a steady presence of assurance. What was once hidden has been brought into the light. What once felt uncertain has now been understood, and what once seemed delayed is no longer out of reach. Take a moment and breathe this in, because you are not the same person who first heard this message. Something within you has shifted. Your awareness has expanded. Your spirit has strengthened. And most importantly, you have stepped into alignment with what was always meant for you. The connection that was revealed to you, the opportunity, the elevation, the transformation. It is no longer something distant. It is no longer something you question. It is something you are prepared to receive. And that readiness is everything. Archangel Michael is reminding you now that you were never overlooked. You were never forgotten. Every delay had a purpose, even when it did not make sense at the time. You were being positioned, protected, and prepared for this exact moment. And now, you are here. The blockage that once stood in your way has been broken, not by force, not by fear, but by awareness, by release, and by your willingness to rise above what was placed against you. This is your victory. Let it settle in your heart. You do not need to rush anymore. You do not need to chase. What is meant for you is already moving toward you, guided by a timing that is precise and intentional. Your role now is not to force it, but to remain open, grounded, and ready. There may still be moments where you wonder, where you question, where you feel the old patterns trying to return. But now you know what to do. You recognize them for what they are, echoes, not truth. And because you recognize them, they no longer hold power over you. This is freedom. Not the absence of challenges, but the presence of clarity. And as you move forward from this moment, carry this with you. You are aligned. You are protected. You are chosen for something greater than what you once saw for yourself. Archangel Michael's guidance does not end here. It continues with you, quietly, steadily, reminding you of who you are whenever you need it most. You are not alone on this path. You never were. Now, step forward with peace. Step forward with confidence. Step forward knowing that what was meant for you has not been taken. It has been restored. Seal this moment with intention. Type "I receive what is meant for me" in the comments if you feel this truth within your spirit. Blessing code 5559 has now been released over your life. And as this message comes to completion, hear this calling clearly. This light that reached you was not meant to stop with you. There are countless others still standing in silence, still facing unseen blockages, still waiting for a moment like this to awaken them. When you release your support through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description and QR code, you are sowing into a river of light that flows beyond this moment, reaching souls who are still searching. The word speaks directly to you now. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse and see if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing. This is not just a verse. It is a living invitation. And if you feel it stirring within you, say it boldly. I am part of this mission, and I release my seed now. Do not delay this act of obedience. Let your giving become a prophetic movement. As you sow, may every open door remain open. May every restored path remain clear. And may the blessing over your life multiply beyond what you imagined. Now walk forward in peace, because it is done.